Well met, lords and ladies. Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of. There's always that a couple frames where I just appear and I don't have anything to actually, that I can use. Like, I don't know. I mean, before the intro sequence comes in, like I press the button. I don't know why. Let me just put that up here. I've realized that there's going to be a lighting issue. If you can't tell, I am back in the what I like to call the quiet corner. And over here, my lighting is actually even worse than usual. And I don't have space to put any ring lights or anything. So, you just have to deal with this for a bit, I'm afraid. But not for long, because we have not one, not three, but four videos today, because that's what we normally do whenever there's a Fallen Angels batch of 4 that comes out. That is when the reviews come in. So, naturally, we've got the 4 remakes now. So I'm going to ask a couple of things. In the description, I, of course, have left a link to the review of the originals, back when they were the most recent versions of all these videos. So if you want to watch those after this video, then be my guest. Open up in a new tab and, I guess, enjoy seeing how much has changed. But for now, we're witnessing what changed here today. Also, there's a link to Aiden's channel. Please do subscribe to it. Oh, and lo and behold, speaking of Aiden, here he is. What would you know?
I've been here the whole time. I screamed in the chat.
I know you have. I saw you there. I was just you were screaming during like the starting soon card. So there was no point putting you in yet. It was all timed. It was all choreographed, you see.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we have reviewed at least some of the remakes. Are we gonna re-review them?
And the reason I'm doing a stream on the Fallen Angels remakes is because, like, I know I said afterwards that, Maui's video was going to come out, but then on the exact same day, Fallen Angels Episode 4 remake came out, and Puppetry Act 1 Scene 2, which means that I've now got that on my back list, as well as the Maui video, as well as the rest of the Gacha shipper stuff. Which, to be honest, I like being in that position where there's so much content to do that I don't know what order to place it in. It's much better than being in the situation where you're like, I have 0 video ideas. I've been there before several times as well, but I'm just saying that, nowadays it's good to have, that whole extensive list. Okay. Also, apparently I have an assistant who wants to come today. That's, if anyone's wondering about that when you're watching the replay, that's because during the premiere yesterday, Josh was talking about meeting Ivanhoe's sister for the first time, and I said, oh, bring her along. Why not? Could use the views and watch time. But apparently this wasn't her thing, and that's fine. All right. So, for those of people whose thing this is, we better get started. Let's see. I download them in the wrong order, so I just have to go through. Here we go, The Fall of Adam. And we have talked about this one before, because there is like another video that's like a side-by-side comparison remake and original, but I didn't do that for the other ones. So I'm keeping the batch of 4. So we're gonna refresh our minds.
I mean, I will say, I don't know if we'll ever get to 4 more remakes. Like, we may get 2 more remakes. We may get episode 5 and 6, but I don't know if I mean, maybe I'll remake episode 8 eventually. I don't know.
This would have been great information to have before this stream started, and B, knowing you're gonna get to like episode 7, you're gonna be like, I could have done this way better. Oh, you know what? I will. Because unlike you can't help yourself.
Okay, here's the thing as well about episode 7. I don't know if I want to I may remake that, but instead of having all that, instead of making original visuals, I'll have certain projects visuals be overlaid, explaining the events, because, relevance.
Yes, if there's something that Adam Copel Remastered told us, that explanations of events are far better on screen than actual visuals.
Yeah, well, there will actually be visual. I'm not explaining myself well. Eh.
Well, speaking of not explaining yourself well, you explain yourself better than Josh did, apparently, because apparently Avatar's sister let her best friends call her brother a racist demon as if she somehow had control of that, and they were flirting with Josh. So apparently, Alvaro is a racist demon now, and Josh was being flirted on with by a bunch of Alvaro's sister's friends. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. Let's.
Yeah, but anyways, what I was saying is Jacob knows about this project, but when that project comes out, I can actually use those visuals over Diogenes' exposition.
Okay, yeah, honestly, the more stuff that you actually do go into details, because a lot of the Fallen Angels subsidiary projects are to do with like stuff that has been like addressed, or not has been addressed, yeah, has been described, and you'll bring it to life later, which is a
Yeah,
good way to actually respond to the reviews and such, because I know I said that there
because
was a lot of
keep in
development
mind the
to tell
main
that
reason
show.
why those events had to be explained is because they're necessary for the plot. Without all that exposition and backstory with Abraxas, that wouldn't make like the near events of the gate feel incomplete, like a weird, like we would get like maybe a quarter of the actual story is like, well, here are current events. I don't know, it'd be kind of weird. It wouldn't
Yeah,
The
that
story
might.
would not work anymore because the story would fall flat on its face without any of that backstory.
Yeah, see, the thing about that is that might be more to do with the structure of the show and how it actually went about in not only executing the exposition, but also in how much of the story itself, the way it was written, actually required it to happen in the first place. So if the show to exist in its current capacity, yes, you're right, it does need to be like that, but it depends on how you would actually, if you were to go back and
And
rewrite certain
plus,
things, it might be different.
and I will say some of the, especially some of that, especially back in the day, I wouldn't have been able to actually tell the story the way I want, all that backstory the way I wanted to tell it, anyways, because I was still getting used to the storytelling of Fallen Angels. So
Hmm.
I think if I even if I had a flashback episode explaining all that backstory, I think it would have looked terrible and not been executed as well.
I mean, I
Yeah.
personally would have still preferred it, but you are right. I mean, honestly, that's one of the things that the musical had an advantage in, because its story was simple
Yeah.
enough and grounded enough to not require extensive effects, which is the mistake I made in Alpha Witch Academy when I thought that'd be a simpler show to produce, and then I realized, oh wait, no, because everything is magic. Of course, it's going to be harder to make. So if anyone's wondering where Alpha Witch Academy is, that's why it takes so long to make those in between everything else going on. So yeah, back in the days, if I'm like 100, I've been saying back in the day since about 2015, I reckon.
Yeah. I will say I'm happy with every episode from episode 9 onwards. So those episodes won't get a remake again unless I get like a full-on animation team or anything like that. Like unless something massive happens, like a new Gacha game comes out, those episodes will not be remade at this current time. Because like I don't see a reason to remake them for a while.
Very well. Well, like I suppose we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So in that case, let's refresh our memories, and without further ado, on with the review. And also, congrats to 410 subs. I'm not going to put up the screen because it ruins the shot here that I scotch taped onto the remake without consulting you.
Oh no, it's fine. I don't mind if you add small details like this.
Honestly,
as long as it isn't lore breaking. If it gets lore breaking, then I'll either cut it out or yell at you for it.
Yeah, essentially, my mentality for this was that if you didn't like it, you could just take it out of the beginning, and then you end up in the same position of the whole Zack. Just go for like that kind of thing. That should be fine. But yeah, just wanted to add a little bit of an opening, just so it wasn't like immediately boom dialogue.
Zack, where do angels come from?
I don't know. I'm only 3 days older.
Oh, I saw 2 kids and they were best friends. Do you want to be best friends?
Sure. What do best friends do?
All I know is that those 2 humans played a game called tag. I don't know how to play it though.
One thing
I
I
do.
don't get at is why Emily complains about her Zack voice for this remake, though. He's like,
Yeah,
I
someone complain
honestly
about their
think it's
Zack
really
voice.
good.
That's a novel concept.
Yeah, but she's like, oh, it changes every 5 minutes or every 5 seconds. You know, it's just like it really doesn't. It's pretty consistent.
I mean, that's the thing. When you're doing voice acting, that happens a lot. You can you can think about your own performances and realize like how much better you could have done like pretty much every line that you do. And even sometimes when you like do 3 takes or something or several of them, and then
I do like 20 takes.
yeah, I know. I
For the
mean,
short lines.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. But yes, that is a problem that you have sometimes. Which is good professional stuff, but not good for gacha. But anyway, the point is, by saying about normally you say if you do like 3 takes or something, then suddenly you might find that the director selects a different take that's like secretly it wasn't. Even if you thought, okay, use whichever one of these, secretly it's like, but you should probably do this one. That's what I find as well sometimes. But that's just the thing that comes with it, really. It's just this. I mean, ultimately, it is the director's vision that matters. So essentially, you just get on with it.
How do you play?
I don't know,
Let's go ask some humans.
but we were told not to interact with them.
Come on.
Fine.
Oh yes, my wonderful green screening, which I've now fixed.
Yeah.
Hi, can you teach us how to play tag?
Wait,
Sure.
oh my god, the green screening's messed up. Jacob, we must remake this episode immediately. I'm kidding.
See that's the thing. I mean, it's like that's why I was saying that you will most likely at some point want to remake all of it because like so far, every old gacha video of yours that you have seen, you then immediately start thinking, oh, I need to remake this or something. That's why,
Not
depending
really.
on how much
It's
time
mostly
passes
early
and how much.
season one.
Yeah,
Early
just saying,
season
like,
one is a pain for me to watch sometimes.
I mean, that's fair. It's like given how much you improve and how much time passes, eventually that's going to end up, being something that you look at for pretty much all of them. Which is why, again, I don't like remaking Mutant Girl episodes too soon because I'll just have that mentality forever.
Well, yeah, but Mutant Girl also has a problem of progression anyways right now, so you know.
Come on, you're it.
I don't
That's
know.
another thing. That's
I'll
a
be
second reason not
careful.
to.
Are you guys gonna come catch me?
You bet, here I come.
Oh, wait, there's a scripting malfunction here that kind of got fixed in the remake. That was never actually shown. But basically, in the original, it just showed the girl dead. I think it was the girl actually in the original. But in the remake, it shows him being run over by a carriage. But in the script, it was a boating accident. So, oopsie, it almost broke the timeline. So,
Well, if it would have broken the timeline if that visual been in the original, because I believe, even though the script says boating accident, the original just showed one of the characters dead in the middle of the land when no boating accident could possibly occur. So, given that context, I think the carriage makes more sense.
Yeah, no. So yeah, that was just a little scripting weird malfunction.
Yeah. Also, about the original as well. The weird thing is like it's supposed to be the powers like to touch a human and then see how they die. In the original, it was like, oh my goodness, I saw how you die. You died. It's like there's no circumstance that comes with it. So yeah,
You died, therefore I just know you're dead. I saw death. It's fun.
Which, by the way, never comes up again as a power. I don't think. I think I've never used that for anyone else.
I mean, they can. They just don't really talk about it much. I mean, not that it's really relevant because, like, most of the time they can see the future based off the fate given to people. And like characters they've been interacting with, like Alana and like characters that are alive, like even Luna, have been already taken off fate's path in a way, where their fate have been altered fundamentally.
I was about to say if Luna was hugging Trevor at any point, that means that he must have been keeping some secrets.
No, yeah, no, their
events played out.
fates have fundamentally been changed, or like they've been messed with at this point, like by otherworldly forces to the point where it's their fate is just really up in the air right now, so their powers don't really work on them anymore. I mean, a
Okay,
normal
got it.
human, their fate would work on it, but you know, in this context, it wouldn't work on characters we get to know.
Okay, all right. Yeah, good to know. Also, why do we give some of the characters the cutesy big anime face?
Because they're cute. And this
yeah.
whole series is chibi.
this
Everyone
was-
is chibi in the series, so it's
Yeah.
meant to be cute.
This was also around the same time that Quadzi was really pushing for more facial expressions with the characters. So I mostly, because the scene that I did, I mostly took like the presets in there versus like what Quadzi does, which is changing the character's eyes and like the shape and morphing their entire face beyond recognition occasionally. So that to me, the cutesy anime eyes and stuff felt like a reasonable compromise at that point. You know, just based on emotions and such.
What's wrong?
I have to go. Right now.
Adam, what happened?
We're leaving.
Okay, and this is one thing I would have changed though. I would have
Oh, yeah.
I would have had Zach in either a different position or something like that, to where when he showed his wings, or had layered them differently, where Adam was on the second layer, because now Adam's partially covering over Zach, and that's just something I would have adjusted with layers or repositioning the characters or something like that. You know,
Don't worry, that won't be an issue for too long. Oh no, never mind. It will be.
no issue.
I thought it was gonna move. Never mind.
We can skip the intro.
Yeah, it's hard to do that on restream, but I'll try my best. Okay.
Now.
I think this is around the time. Just. Oh, perfect.
What have I told you about interacting with humans?
We're sorry.
I don't get why we can't.
Oh no. Don't skip intro, I forgot. Okay, fine. Next episode we'll play the intro.
Adam, show some respect. He's an
I don't really
archangel.
like the season 1 intro that much, so that's why I'm. Listen, the
Well,
season 1 intro is kind of.
Don't you constantly change the visuals in them?
I constantly did, but at the same time, looking back at it, it's still not that. I like the way I did the season 2 intro more with original visuals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
I'm so sorry, sir. Found my friend. He's new here.
Now, do you know what we do here when you guys interact with humans?
no.
What do we do? Why do we see death?
We watch over people in their final moments, and we escort them to the underworld to pass judgment, making sure nothing gets in the way at the same time.
Why? If we have the power to save people, then why don't we?
We must follow the fate given to them.
Zach, I still don't get it.
This again?
Yes, it's just that we can stop some deaths at least. Why don't we help?
We can't fight the fates.
Why not?
It's our job.
Why not?
Plus, who are we to decide who lives or dies?
Okay, so see, right that I love this scene in the way that it presses, because we've seen Adam's perspective on one side of the debate. We have Kurt, the authority figure, showing the other one, as portrayed as if he's the one who knows best, because of course adult versus kid. That happens quite a lot, even if the kid might actually have a point, especially in this instance. And yet we have Zach in the middle, showing that who are they to actually decide anything. I think that kind of I don't know if that quite foreshadows Zach's journey into who he actually became later, but it definitely sets up Adam and Kurt. And also Hedo to ArcDroid 29.
I think hello. I think that means hello.
I know. Would you ship a scholar with a fortune teller? That would be the scholar and the fortune teller. I think I know exactly who you're talking about. If it's that scholar and that fortune teller, there might be a slight age gap between them. Depends. I don't remember how old the fortune teller herself is. But if it's a scholar and a fortune teller in general, well, if they're compatible as people, then why not? That's not really affected by their job descriptions.
We have to keep in natural order.
I just feel bad. We let good people die, and bad people sometimes get to live happy lives with no consequences for what they did.
That's what the afterlife is for.
I guess.
Come on now. We got a job to do.
Are you ready to go to your next mission?
Yeah, I just feel bad.
Oh,
This young girl's gonna be murdered by her uncle.
Yeah, I feel bad that she has to die, but oh, that's another thing. See what I said before about like voice acting and think about like your lines and text and stuff. Yeah, I do not know what's happening with my mic at that point. She'll go to a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I a little bit too close to the microphone right now? I can't tell if it's peaking or not. Yeah, I should have caught that. That's a me thing.
And her uncle doesn't get caught for another 45 years.
This again? It's not our place to decide. Now go make sure nothing stops it and escort that girl back here.
Okay.
He is so stubborn sometimes.
Oh, that's another thing. That effect that was there. Because that teleportation effect was a me thing. That's a yellow flash transition you can do.
It's now turned into a white flash that I use.
I mean, that's fine. I'm more concerned about the fact that we have the sound effect attached to it, but yet the sound effect persists regardless of how slow the teleportation actually is. The reason that works in Dragon Ball is because all the teleportations are instant. It's instant transmission. But you have some people fading into existence sometimes, and yet as they fade in and slowly materialize, then you hear the sound. That's the thing that comes up later.
Also, I will say about the whole shipping Karis and Julia, I don't know, there's kind of an age gap between Karis and Julia.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like I didn't know how old Julia was.
Karis is in like her late 30s, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Julia is like in her early 20s, so a little bit weird. That ship is a little bit strange.
It's not impossible. It just
It's not impossible, but it's just kind of awkward and strange for me to ship them. Like, I don't know. They're kind of a bit of an age gap. Plus,
And also, Karis is Mrs. Dysart's first name. She is Karis Dysart, which actually was a thing that I wrote down like on the first day writing the script of the Mutant Girl season 1. I just never mentioned her name because it never came up.
Please don't do this.
Ah, Gustav Holst. You can tell that I did the scoring for this episode.
I don't know if I can do
It's
this.
all classical music and such.
It just feels wrong. I can't just sit by and let a father kill his daughter in front of his wife.
Just do it. She's going to a better place.
Just do it!
Please don't do this.
She's brought shame upon my lineage. The bloodline must be started again.
Someone, anyone, help! I can't lose my baby.
No one's coming to hell.
Yeah, this is definitely where I would have had it at a couple of angles and stuff. Technically, I could have done that, and you most likely would not have noticed. But again, director's vision, so I don't tend to.
No,
add
I mean, angles would have been
angles.
fine here. I just never ended up adding them.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing that I see in I don't see in a lot of gachas is taking advantage of the angles. It's all done from a distance. Of course, we did actually talk about the original electric equipment that's in the background. So I won't.
Okay, it's meant to be taking place in a kitchen. That is the gist of it. But I just used a background with electrical equipment, and I didn't mean to actually have that be in the scene. It's not meant to be there.
That is a far better explanation than the what you said before about it not being canon.
Because it's not literally written in the script. I thought we had been over this. Isn't the script only canon?
I don't think I said the script on anyway.
Ah!
I'm just gonna address because that's where the meme came from. That's the only reason I brought it up. Also, seems like Adam was the one screaming there. It was meant to be the child. Oh, the mother.
That's it! I'm done letting people die!
What are
And there
you?
should have been a
An
falling
angel.
body sound effect, like falling body sound effect there. That wasn't
Hmm.
there. I'm
Fair
calling
enough.
out your scoring.
All right, fair enough. Calling out was good. I'm going to respond by praising your editing because this is far better than the first time that this happened.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, her name is Karis. Just no one. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were. That was like a thread from the last comment. Yeah, non-canon. Don't know what you're talking about. Exactly. Yeah. Pretty sure B was there during the birth of that meme.
Now, you should head home. Your parents must be worried sick.
Thank you.
And I recreate the visual of Adam flying
What
one
did you
direction
do?
while Lana walking
Something-
away.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I'll say about this remake. Is that it's interesting to see because a lot of the scenes that were done by other people tend to be like that the setting is a little bit different. Like I put my one in a less modern environment, and also like dress the characters up in different fashion. Well, actually, that was Emily. I asked a different fashion for the characters. Yeah. For example, I don't know. Some other people apply different angles or edits or expressions, etc. Aiden, for the most part, did shot for shot reconstructions of the old scenes at this point, except with a key difference of knowing how to do
More
multiple layers
movement.
and movement and such. Yeah, that's where the variation comes from. So, actually, if you see something that's seen as like very much like it's like ripped straight from the original, it's not. It's reconstructed, but it is also most likely Aiden who did it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I should have done many times before.
Great! Now you've made a mess.
I would do it again.
They'll kill you, or worse, throw you in the box for 50 years. Do you know what the box does to an angel?
I won't let that happen.
And how exactly do you intend to do that?
One thing I like about this remake as well, I use a lot of these. I don't know what they're called, like the emojis. I use a lot of the emojis in this remake.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think they are just like chat emotes or something.
Are they called emojis? What are they called? They're called emotes. So yeah.
Yeah, chat emotes. That's fair enough. Yeah. Also, I was like say I've realized that if either Adam or Zach had ever been punished and put in the box before this point, they would have known about the time dilation issue that Trevor encountered. Actually.
Yeah.
Or rather, I'd say the time constriction, really, because it should. Yeah, that's it. The time constriction is the opposite effect. Yeah.
With this.
How did you get that?
I found it 40 years ago. Been saving it for a day like this. No angel could track me anymore.
Don't do this, Adam.
Goodbye, old friend.
What are you?
This scene was
My
done by
name-
Emily, but the main problem is like the pixelation of this scene was high.
I mean, I'd say the main problem so far, well, I mean, we've only just seen a couple of frames, but the main problem so far is the fact that Thanatos was already in the room for Alana to react to. Like, that's the thing. Now that's twice that we've missed out on the chance to, like, have him, like, emerge in some capacity, like, I think in the script he comes in a cloud of smoke. I wouldn't mind that's not necessarily too much, just, like, some sort of, like, this is where slow teleportation really would have actually had an impact. And if I could do that, I would.
Okay, keep in mind we do actually see his teleportation in the room, at least in episode 3's remake. Because I have to add stuff. Remember how I do like the previous few minutes of the scene or like a minute of the scene? Time travel.
Yes, I do remember that. You know what? We'll show that. We'll also address which is your favorite towards the end. We'll talk about that once we've relived them all, I guess.
My name is Thanatos, and I will be known to you as Death.
Death? Are you
That his
gonna
voice just
kill
keeps
me?
getting deeper and deeper.
Sorry, but you're already dead.
I had to do all the Adam teleporting in the room because
No,
Emily just did like the close-ups on all our characters and just implied the teleportation happened off screen, but I actually edited like when you see the shots of the characters teleporting in and teleporting away, those were actually done by me and after I got the scene. I just edited them in and be like, oh no, they totally did that.
Yeah. See, Emily is at least using angles effectively in that regard,
Yeah.
but I guess maybe maybe it's more difficult to do a fade like that on mobile. I don't know.
I
if
don't
that's
know
true
if
or not.
I don't know if Emily could do that.
I mean, the way that we do the fades, incidentally, is it's either the character's on a separate layer and you just like, and you actually have an option to fade out a particular layer in a video track, or you can take two different separate events on a timeline and just like squish them together like that, and this overlap bit here will fade.
It's like a
into
crossfade
each other.
or something like that.
Yes, exactly, and both of those work.
Isn't.
It's you.
Hi, we must be off.
He's just like, we must be off. You don't want to hang out with this guy. Come on, drop the zero and get with the hero.
What?
So that must be the angel responsible for this mess. Very well. I haven't had such a thrilling chase since Sisyphus. The game is on.
Come, Watson, the game is afoot.
Who are you and where are we?
I'm Adam, and we're at my secret angel-proof cabin.
How are you here then?
Well, I made it so I'm the only angel who knows where this cabin is, and I'm the only one who could enter it.
Oh.
There's another
Well,
mini one.
I'm sure you need answers.
Yeah, I'm really confused.
Well, technically I'm known as a fallen angel.
What is that?
A
Oh yeah, it's definitely a me thing. I remember that background flickering a little bit.
angel breaks away from the program.
I messed up the
Wait,
placement.
so
Yay!
are angels bad?
No, they're not bad. They're just misguided. At least that's what the cynic says.
The cynic?
I just call him that because I can't pronounce his name. Bottom line, there's others that think like me. I'm...
You want to tell the story behind the cynic?
Apparently I couldn't say Diogenes. I don't really remember that, but yeah.
Yeah, that was what happened at first. So because there's Diogenes, of course, you know, it's not like you can change the character's name because he was based on a real person. So
Oh,
we
he
had
doesn't
to
look.
recall
He
that.
looks nothing like the original person.
Yes.
But, you know, that was Aiden not realizing he was based off another person. So
Okay,
you know.
that's a separate thing. We've talked about that before. That's a separate issue. What I'm in this case, the fact that he was based on a real person means he couldn't change his name, and so I went with his nickname for this, which was the Cynic. In reality, he was the founder of cynicism, the philosophical movement. So you know that was the equivalent there.
one of the few who acted on those thoughts.
And is that going to return? Well, you know, death
I don't
eventually
know.
comes for us all, Josh. So I
I
assume he
mean,
will.
I don't know.
That's good to hear. Or bad. Or I don't know anymore.
Us angels know when everyone dies, aka their fate, and we have to protect that.
So my uncle was supposed to murder me.
Yep, and was supposed to get away with it. But I saved you.
Oh, I'm gonna mention one thing first. One more thing about the music. I don't think I mentioned last time we reviewed this. The opening track from the Asphodel scene, the one that I scotch taped on, and this one, they're part of the same like the same piece, the same movement. But it was actually fan made in the style of Gustav Holst. Again, I mentioned him before, good Miles Bringer of War. This one was like the Earth, the Bringer of Life, that was actually made, and yeah, it seemed to have like different aspects to it, like a slightly more ominous one as life was being formed, I suppose, which is why I use it for the death bit. And here was the more tranquil version, which wraps up the movement. And now I have it here, so it wraps up the episode. So because I got the chance to do both the opening and the closing, and also the scoring, I thought it made sense. My first chance to do scoring for Fallen Angels, or my only chance I thought back then, because everybody was going to have to do the scoring for every episode for a while. I thought it was my only chance. I was like, okay, I'm going to leave my mark here.
I
So
have
that was
watched
that.
over enough mortals over the century to recognize a face of guilt. Rest assured, anything that happens from this point onwards is on my head. I can't
And then
carry
everything
your
just happened
guilt
inside.
or lift it. All I could do is transmit a bit of peace.
I'd like that.
a visual that was somewhat similar to Alpha Witch Academy. In the same bed. And there you have it. Subscribe, obviously.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Also, we've got a question here. Does anyone call her Aunt Karis?
I mean, Alana
well, yes,
hasn't.
the-
we
yes,
haven't.
her
We haven't
niece.
seen it. We haven't seen it verbally yet because, like, I'm pretty sure she just called her auntie in season 1. But yeah, she does call her Aunt Karis normally.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there was anyone who was gonna do it, it's like, you know, the one person who is her niece in the series. I mean, they could all do it technically as a nickname, but yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now on to episode
Or apparently Zach said it to her, but
Not to. I
doesn't
think.
seem
I
right. I
think
don't
that was
remember.
in reference to be like they said they're going to see Alana's Aunt Karis. I think that was the line is being referenced there.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, because I don't remember recording a line that was Zach addressed her as Aunt Karis.
I don't think it was.
Okay.
I think it was like a line that was used. Okay.
Yeah. Now, actually, I did the scoring for a lot of episodes when it was after that one came out, but by the
Not
time
the
that this
remakes.
remake rolled out, that process had stopped. I was no longer commissioned to do those, so so all the scoring from this point onwards is Aiden's choice, which means that I can review it much more fairly now. So in that spirit, good start. Oh, and that's that's it, because of course you have to go back and flashback. Unfortunately,
Yeah, and I didn't have the unscored version, so
yeah, unfortunately we don't keep the unscored version, so that does happen sometimes. My recommendation there would have actually been to take the same track, Mars the Bringer of War, and take the first bit.
Shorty's
feed
in the
it in.
chat. Hey,
Shorty's in the
Shorty.
chat. Great, yeah. And feed that in, which actually is what I did for episode 4, because I did do the score for one scene, but we will get to that at the very, very end. And yes, hi Shorty. So I was in the middle of explaining something, so I don't address you immediately. But yes, hello.
She's back shaming upon my lineage. The bloodline must be started again.
I love how even after you get rid of the last time of Fallen Angels, we still get a last time of Fallen Angels.
Someone, anyone, help! I can't lose my baby.
And it's the scene that birthed the meme as
No
well.
one's coming to hell.
Ah!
unique visuals. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you went from the first one to then transitioning into the new stuff. The faces of the people that he has let die.
Yeah, he didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, it's like, look upon the people that you have killed. I went into Demon Warlock there for a second. You know, wrong time. Wrong time. Yeah, and yes, I waited so long to say hi to you. I was building up to it. It's like what Aiden, like with Aiden being let into this stream. I was building up to the reveal of him.
Don't fall. Don't...
Oh, and why is she ashamed of the lineage? That is up to you, I suppose. It never really comes up again, so.
I mean, it was kind of just an example of someone dying. So I mean, you can like headcanon whatever you want there. Listen,
there aren't that many excuses for patricide, especially back in the day. So I suppose that was the one thing that matched.
Don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run.
Oh yeah,
Don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet.
And unlike the music video, this cast stayed much the same.
Just start again. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks.
I think there was some backlash to the patricide point. Also monies here as well. Blow-ups. I was like, Okay, actually, Mono, since you're here, so I'm not doing puppetry today. Literally, like the same day Scene 2 came out, the remake of episode 4 of Four Angels came out, so I'm doing the.
Okay, so guess who has to leave the stream for a bit?
Oh, well, okay then.
I'll be back,
Go,
but
Power
I have to
Rangers.
leave.
Okay.
Go, listen. Just because they wear their colors on their sleeves, and to be fair, characters like Alana
Literally.
actually,
Literally, they do.
characters like Alana do have a lot of color schemes to them. I mean, she is red, purple, pink, blue, like a
And white.
magenta color.
There's some white
white.
on the socks too.
Yeah. No, so certain characters have actually a lot of colors on the color scheme.
Wrong type of angels, Monet. Wrong type of angels. Good grief.
Okay. Anyways, I will be back. I'll probably watch the stream from my car, but probably not be commenting. But yeah, not my car. In the car.
Well, okay then.
Okay, don't worry. I'll be back.
Sure,
yes,
all
Alana
right, fair
is the
enough
Pink
then.
Ranger.
Oh yeah, we've got. Well, how's the activation go? I haven't seen Power Rangers like properly.
It depends because
is it like
sometimes they'll
Blue
say
Ranger Adam or something? Is that how it
no,
goes?
they'll say that's Mighty Morphin. Like certain Power Rangers will say something different. Oh well, Helen's more of either the Yellow Ranger or the Red Ranger, honestly.
How did Andrew Wong get brought into this? We went from Power Rangers to Andrew Wong. How do we?
I don't know. You have fun. We
okay. It's morphin time! Pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows! I don't know. That's the best I could do. I guess Mono might have to put Power Rangers on the list, I think. Well, we might both put it on the list of stuff to watch together at some point. I don't know. 5 more days, instantly. 5 more days.
Okay, you stay here. I'll get you some food.
What about you?
Us angels don't need to eat. Now stay here and don't let anyone in.
Oh, he's gonna miss his
See you in
favorite
an hour.
scene. Oh, poor Aiden.
Ooh, I wonder if I can get in.
Okay, so that's an example of the fade there. It's not as slow as I would have as I implied the rest of them were, but it is missing the transition, like the flash there. But I think he did eventually fix that, so fair enough. And would Karis or Zach be the Purple Ranger? Oh, that's a question for Monet. Okay, I'll let her answer that.
Any cell service here?
Wow, how did you get in here?
Oh yeah, that's right. Harvey's the Purple Ranger. It's morphin time, dudes.
I know magic?
Bro, those wings look so real. I love that angel cosplay.
Thanks. Now I'm here to buy a lot of human food.
Human food?
I mean just food. I'm really getting into character.
Nice. Well, I know all the best human food.
I just realized something. In the previous scene, he had his wings like not deployed, but yeah, by the time he teleported into this scene, they're out. That's not a me thing, by the way, because the angel cosplay, it has to be the wings. Because when we wrote that episode, I think we hadn't actually completed the designs yet, so I didn't know that Adam's outfit was going to be, well, this, which to be honest, looks pretty human. It's not like a typical angel cosplay at all. So that means the only angelic hints that you have are his wings in this instance. So yeah, that's another thing as well. We didn't fix the fashion for Adam and Zach back in the day because that was the designs I got sent. So, you know, I did as I was told in that instance.
Great.
What will it be then?
I don't know. How about those brownies on the table over there?
No, don't touch those! Those aren't for sale.
I should have let
Aw,
that.
but they look delicious.
You don't know the half of it, man.
Okay, so...
Hold on. But the angels from High School DxD look pretty human sometimes. Okay, it's not the fact that the angels have to look a certain way, because clearly Aiden had other ideas. It's the fact there's a line directly stating that Adam is in angel cosplay. So he must therefore look something like an angel. Yes, you can have like other angel stuff in high school DxD and stuff where they look relatively human. I say relatively. They do look human. It's been a while. But what was I going to say? But yeah, in this instance, that doesn't actually apply because it is, unfortunately, that's how it turned out. And also, Shorty, you of all people know that biblically accurate angels aren't biblically accurate. I'm pretty sure BB disproved that theory a while ago. In front of you, no less. I should check out their outfits. Okay. I mean, it has been a while, that's fair. Alright. I'm saying he could be cosplaying from an anime like High School DxD. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Aiden would ever watch High School DxD. I mean, just from like the first episode that, definitely traumatized me was I realized what kind of show it was supposed to be. I don't think Aiden would get anywhere near as far through as I did. They were still in the Bible at some point. Okay, but I thought the description was okay, whatever. I don't know. And yes, you might love High School DxD, but can you imagine Aiden watching High School DxD? I don't think he'd be able to survive it, quite frankly.
So, what do you recommend instead?
Well, you seem like you're in a hurry. I suggest going to our easy cook aisle. Everything there takes like 30 seconds to make.
Actually, wait a minute, Maya. If you like High School DxD, why not like do some shipping with that show? That show is like designed for a lot of ships to occur in it, and you focus your energy on My Hero Academia.
Excellent.
Anyway.
I'll be right back.
And I always use Zach more than Harvey. I always use Harvey more so I can do more funny humor with him. I mean, partly Harvey works in small bursts, but also I don't know. I think it's because Zach and Adam having more history together allows for more of a chance for stuff in mini games, I suppose. But yeah, fair enough. Next mini game, if I remember to, I will use Harvey.
How will you be paying?
With 2 gold.
Oh, so you watch DxD for the fight scenes then? You know what else has really good fight scenes in it? My Hero Academia! Where's the difference? Anyway.
Coins. What can that buy?
Everything in this store!
They look like Eucharist bread.
It's a deal.
I said like I didn't make that edit.
Are you sure you don't know where he is?
Like I said, I don't.
Are you sure?
Yes.
If I find out you're lying to me, I'm throwing you in the box.
Got it.
Now, I must be off. I got a job to do.
Oh wait, hold on. You mentioned the actual series. Well, okay, well that's not entirely up to me. Yes, I am one of the writers for it, so I could actually, request more Harvey if I wanted to. But given how there are so many characters at this point that have a lot more plot relevance than Harvey does, I like to stick to like how much Aiden includes him, at least for now. He has got stuff going on himself, but that's mainly independent, so it would kind of retract if it was focused on too much. I mean, ironically, Aiden actually understood the concept of supporting roles a lot more in his later years, and that's one of the things that I said to him, like, when we first started writing. That was one of the concepts I tried to actually implement into his brain. But there you go. You're currently advocating for a sideshow for Harvey. I don't know why I read that as Sideshow Harvey.
Well, hello, Bart. What are you doing here, Diogenes?
I'm looking for your friend, Adam.
Not you two. I don't know where he is. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
I just want to help.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I know what he did.
Yeah, every angel worth anything knows.
Yeah, I want to help him.
I'm not letting him anywhere close to your orbit.
But
Get out of here before I call the other angels to catch you.
You do well if you reevaluate who you put your trust in, especially from this point onward.
Yeah,
But
Zuko.
I should go for now. Ta-ta.
That's the yeah. Some lines when you hear them read by the voice actors, you're like, oh, I should have considered. Actually, that we didn't know that Phantom was going to be voicing Diogenes at any point. So yeah, in my head, he always had like the wise and calm old man voice, even though the real Diogenes was like a crazy, chaotic individual. But yeah, he just kept on morphing. So I can understand, that was a my mistake using Tata there. I'm sorry. Oh, wait a minute. The ship right there. Okay. All right. I mean, the setup is that Adam is Diogenes is Adam's hero. He's the one he admires the most. He wants to be let into his circle, and Zack doesn't want him anywhere near. So I know that you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to be anywhere near this guy, but oh wait, I secretly like him and blah blah blah. But yeah, gotta consider the philosophical standings here. That's the thing that no one talks about with Fallen Angels, and both Aiden and I kind of like, I know that's one of the things that there's sometimes as we think about like what do we need to do to implement more of the philosophy into this, like how the characters' moralities are actually rooted in. There's like this really big concept of like what their purpose of their entire lives and everything. But yeah, I don't know. There was also meant to be another scene at some point that showed off that Diogenes was in fact, directing himself to a massive crowd, and Zack had to actually approach him himself at one point to tell him to stay away from Adam, but that never made it in. Anyway, oh well. Oh, more lines of Zack saving Zack from Zack's self. From himself, you mean? But yeah. And then becoming Zack's savior way down the line. I suppose. Although then again, the person who really is the reason that Zack changed his perspective at all, more than anyone, is Adam. But yeah, I can see what that statement was going to actually incite in people, so I'm going to leave it there and move on.
Everything is spiraling out of control.
I'm back.
Yeah!
What's she doing? Okay, that anime face was kind of weird.
Give me some warning next time. Jesus Christ. Sorry, was that like horribly offensive?
Not quite. It's complicated. Shall I tell you over some breakfast? What?
I'm starting to think maybe I should have done the shopping.
Let it be known that the first magical power that Alana exhibits in this series is seeing through bags.
But the guy at the store that just bought said these take 30 seconds to make.
Yeah, if you actually have cooking equipment, which we don't. Wait, did you just say you bought a store?
Yeah, apparently.
Hold on. And the red-headed, black-winged angel. What, you mean Kurt? His teacher and mentor. God, no.
Gold coins are more valuable on Earth than Underworld.
What is this, a Caribbean school play? I only made that joke in case Monet is still in the chat roaming about. I don't know. I don't think she is, but just in case.
Seriously, they're like pocket change to Karen. No wonder we do all the escorting souls nowadays. Anyways, want to check out the store?
Isn't that dangerous?
Nah, I still have this. And as for you, human souls are actually very difficult to trace.
Are you sure? Because that Thanos guy found me pretty much immediately.
Yeah, you were at your house. You're actually several miles away now.
Okay, but you still need a disguise Mr. Traceable or not. You stick out right now.
Very well then. Hey store guy, do you got any clothes?
Would I ship Karis and Harvey? Well, again, same See, that's a good thing. See, I keep saying like age gap and stuff, but to be honest, we never actually established how old any of these people actually are, apart from Alana and also Adam and Zach. So yeah, just taking that factor out of the equation and just going by the pair of them, I suppose it could work. I mean, Karis of course has the massively upbeat energy, and to be honest, I have actually been told that by somebody from my university that that apparently the mutant girl would be really good for the stoner community who in their minds they apparently they overreact to everything, and they're like pretty much anything you see while you're high apparently hits you more, whether it's the feels, the laughs, or whatever it is. So I guess if Harvey is really high a lot, then he'd be more immersed in the stories that Karis would tell, and as somebody who wants to listen to his stories, and obsessed with Greek mythology, which is some of the most well-known stories of all time, I guess in a way that would be one way they'd be compatible, quite frankly. So yeah, I can see it, honestly. And I wasn't advocating for getting high. I was just trying to describe it in the same way that the person that told me about it described it to me. I am not advocating for drug use.
Here.
This is a grocery store, man.
Oh.
Hold on. This is true. A friend of mine would get high frequently and just watch Powerpuff Girls. To be honest, I think the Powerpuff Girls show is a trip in of itself. I don't know if there's even a requirement to watch it, but there you go. Must be an amazing, not amazing for that friend. Anyway, I just stopped talking about this. Don't do drugs is my point.
So that's a no then.
Oh my. Look, you can find stuff in the place across the street. Go over there and pick something out.
Sure.
Here, take my phone. I'll use the one here, if you own the place now. And hide your wings.
There you go. Now he hides his wings.
Hey, can I have a...
No!
And yeah, you know what time it is. Almost. One more scene, I think.
You're here.
Yeah, you did call.
I honestly didn't think you would come.
Why not?
It could have been a trap.
I know, but I trust you.
Why?
I was like you, torn between two different paths.
What do you mean?
You want to stick with the program, but you also want to stick with your friend.
See, that's the thing. With Diogenes, because of the stuff found out about him later and the type of person he really, really was, and how much the Civic movement actually really, it was anti-establishment, but it was also chaotic as sin. That's where I'm thinking that he has evolved as a person. Which, if somebody were to use a justification for why he looks different, maybe his evolution as a person over the millennia has then morphed his appearance and he has emerged anew as a new man. I don't know. I'll leave that up to the powers that be, which basically are Aiden and me, but whatever. Anyway. Does Karis have a mutant obsession? Because Harvey's the second mutant you see. No, she's just seen a couple of mutants. That's not really a mutant obsession. I mean, honestly, Morwenna was one of her, quote unquote, favorite students, because she did have a bit of favoritism problem, let's be real here. But that was mainly because of her shared passion for Greek mythology with her ability for performance, and just her emotional realness and stuff. So yeah, I think that was really it, rather than an obsession with mutants in particular. That being said, if she isn't obsessed with mutants, that's not necessarily a reason that she wouldn't go for someone like Harvey. That's because Thomas being a mutant is like a small percentage of himself. I dare say that's like the last thing people think about when they think of Harvey in particular, most of the time, unless they think about Cute Raccoon and stuff. Then they would mention it. But yeah, I have a gay obsession. I have multiple gay friends. Wait, I have multiple gay friends. Many of the same people. Does that mean that I have a gay obsession too? What? Am I like the reverse of James Charles? I only go for gay people? Like the opposite. That would be horrible.
Yeah, I guess.
You should go talk to him.
How?
I'm sure you can figure it out. There must be a place you both could go.
I could try that.
Good. Now, I should go on the supply run for the doubters.
Oh, them.
Until we meet again.
Now, people might be wondering what kind of supplies the doubters actually need for anything, because, you know, what do? They debate and they can manifest anything that they need at will. And I don't know, honestly. I don't remember. That might have been a me thing, actually. The supply run as an excuse.
Well, also, if you see Adam, tell him I'm looking for him.
Bye, I won't.
Curses, how do you use this thing?
About time, I was worried
That was a witch reference, by the way, that line. Except for this a really obscure one.
something had happened to you.
No. Nothing. I mean, I just made a fool out of myself in front of some random people.
Did you at least pick out the clothes you want?
Not yet, but I will.
Alright, hurry up and come over here.
I can't find them.
What do you mean you can't find them?
I can't find them. There's only soup.
What do you mean there's only soup?
Yeah, what do you mean there's only soup? There's clearly a sign there that says drinks, there's fruit, there's like packets and stuff, there's bottles. It's not all soup. What are you on about, Adam? And I know that's another background issue, but I mean, I'm pretty sure even if you go into like the original the original like Code Geass abridged thing, you can actually Code Ment, that's what it's called. Yeah. Even if you go to the original Code Ment episode 13, you actually can probably find the same backgrounds. At this point, Aiden wasn't used to looking for backgrounds. In fact, to this day, he still mostly asks for custom ones. I keep telling him to just use free pick backgrounds, but I don't know. Apparently that's not apt, I suppose. And can't the angels change their clothes? I suppose in theory they could. But then again, Adam, I guess, wouldn't know what to change into. Actually, this might also be a remnant of me not knowing what the characters were going to look like at the beginning and what they're going to wear. Because if I'd known about this, I would have again mentioned that Adam is already in pretty human clothing. So there's no point him, searching around for more stuff. If he was in a proper angel attire, look more like an angel in this instance, then it would make sense that he wouldn't be up to date with, the fashion, because he kind of, the only connection he has with humans is, escorting them off to their deaths. It's not going to be focused on the clothing at that point. He's not like, oh, girl, that dress does not suit you at all. Rotting corpse. Yeah, so yeah, from my perspective, I didn't catch that because that was, again, not a thing I saw before. To be honest, maybe I was kind of wrong in something I said before, actually. I think a few streams ago, or maybe a few like script writing sessions ago, I mentioned that this was around Monet, though I think it might have been a script session, that normally I think about like the designs of characters and what they would look like after I've written something for a little bit. And because that's normally because people want to do the designs themselves, and whenever I do designs, I am the subject of many complaints a lot of the time. So I leave that as a detail for later once I figure out, the characters' personalities and everything, so I can actually accurately represent what they look like then afterwards. But actually, the disadvantage of doing that is that you end up thinking they're wearing something different, and then someone who's not you does a design, and you don't catch on to the fact that it becomes an inconsistency. So yeah, maybe it is worth thinking about designs first, and then, although I guess you could technically still do it afterwards, but just make sure you don't put them in modern clothing. I don't understand to this day why Aiden was so insistent on the angels looking this way. He wants them to look different to like the typical like Christian angels that seem to be like mostly like clad in white and nativity plays and all that stuff. And yeah, that's okay. But that doesn't mean they have to wear modern clothing 240 years before it was invented, as well as when they're in modern day, keep the exact same outfits, but also be required to replace them with outfits that look mildly different to the ones you've already had. That, like 2 years on, still makes zero sense to me.
I mean, there's only soup.
Well, get out of the soup aisle.
Oh, right, you don't shout at me. There's more soup.
What do you mean there's more soup?
There's just more soup.
Go into the next aisle.
There's still soup.
I won't
Where are
drop this,
you
but
at
look at
right now?
I'm at soup.
What do you mean you're at soup?
I mean, I'm at soup.
What store are you in?
I'm at the soup store.
Why are you buying clothes at the soup store?
You said the place across the street.
Not that one, obviously.
Well, which one?
The one that sells clothes.
Fine. What?
Nope, I'm not getting involved with that. Yeah, I love how like that is the most intense that we have heard Aiden be, and like the loudest and most intense it's been. Even in like the "That's it, I'm done, people die" line, which is meant to be is written as like a guttural scream of like everything boiling up, like these 2 centuries of doing this job, and then suddenly it's like no more can I let this slide. Even that is less loud than him yelling through the phone about the fact he's buying clothes in a soup store. Of course. Of course.
Need this. Stupid
yeah, I
Alana
forgot the
thinks
lights.
she's so smart because she knows which stores sell soup.
That was also an SAO Bridge reference. Think it's so smart because you know how to kill a boar.
I'm back.
Great. What did you get?
A bunch of stuff for you and me. But I couldn't.
Which I have proceeded to stuff down my trousers. Where are the clothes? What happened?
Let's find some clothing.
Like?
A new shirt for you.
Oh, don't worry. I actually love this shirt. My aunt got it for me. She's a teacher
It's not a shirt, but okay.
in middle school.
I see.
Again, if you know what the character's gonna be wearing, then you know it's not gonna be a shirt. But also, that was meant to be this Dice Art foreshadowing, because we did plan they were going to be related, like even back when we wrote the script. So that's something we should have both called onto, is the fact that she doesn't say I like this shirt. What?
Now, I'm going to the potty.
Oh yeah, I guess he could have teleported to the cabin and put them there. Yeah, you know that is fair. That does make sense. We'll go with that for now.
Ooh, these look good on me.
What do you think?
I like it.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm going to the park to think.
You both look very similar. Like, this would have been a good chance to really like do an outfit change for the pair of them. A lot of people, when they do gacha shows, they're still thinking about it in terms of like what gacha essentially is. It's marketed as an anime dress-up game. So a lot of people focus on the dress-up aspect and the design, which makes sense. It's just that, you know, whenever they do redesigns for characters, they sometimes neglect to really give an excuse for it. That's one of the reasons why, like, Reina's glow up really kind of exists as an example of how to do that and make it work for the story. But yeah, other times it goes completely unaddressed, and there's just like minor tweaks and differences, and usually it's not that bad, but other times it can be. I remember one particular gacha show that I need to get the link for again, that literally stopped the show at one point to redesign some characters because the creator was not happy. And we see the creator's OC itself make the changes, which Oh boy, that was a fun time. But yeah, in this instance, yeah, Aiden doesn't really tend to make the characters dress too differently to themselves. That's why the whole color scheme thing comes up. He's not a fan of making characters who's, wear something other than their favorite colors, for instance. So you won't get too many like outdoor clothes or stuff, or like mid-season outfit changes. So that's why.
Okay, but don't get caught.
I won't.
I knew you'd come here.
Oh my word. This man, don't get caught, and yet he teleports into the park and is just resting like this with his wings out. And he expects not to get caught. Like, oh, I'm gonna be fine, Alana. What on earth are you talking about, Ada? This was a terrible plan.
Crap sticks.
And that's it. What more can you say? All right. Final thoughts on that remake. Yeah. I will say I should have watched the originals back then to see really what the differences were. This one didn't stand out as having too many like major differences, apart from the stuff that I know is different because I worked on that Harvey scene particularly, with him being behind the counter rather than in front of it for some reason, and to assert that he is the store clerk, and also then also the Adam actually shopping for the items and just picking a couple of random things off of the shelves. So stuff that I worked on I know is different, and also of course we can't neglect to mention the scene with the souls. Which, yeah, the souls themselves, that's the only time we really had them retain their faces. And I think that might have been why the face will be used as like the ghost forms. I forget when this was released specifically. But yeah, the ghost forms, having the faces there humanizes them and makes it so that Adam's turmoil is all the more apparent and real and justifiable because of all the stuff that he has done and is still guilty for. Oh, well, yeah, still guilty about, I mean. So yeah, definitely. You know what? I'm going to go with what Josh said. 8 out of 10 Relic, not Relic, remake. I'm sorry, I'm very tired. I've been working quite a lot. I've been trying to update and release a book, which I recently put on my community tab. So yeah, get your copies now. And if you're watching this on the day of this stream, don't get the paperback yet because it's still being reviewed. So the formatting is still the dreadful version it was before. So yeah. All right. Oh yeah. Yeah, the link will be in the community tab that I have because I'll be working on some other stuff to do with that very soon. So you'll hear more about it. But yes, that is there in case anyone's interested. But please, for the love of everything, get the Kindle or mobile version for right now. The paperback, if you wait for a couple of days. Anyway, that's why I'm so tired. I've been working. Absolutely. I mean, working towards getting an income for something that I actually studied for crying out loud, would be really useful. But yeah, I've also had a request for a new book recently about a monster romance. One that is a monster of some kind, and I have thought of some ideas for it actually. Just again, this other one I want to get done first. So yeah, who knows? I've got stuff to do, but we're gonna carry on for right now. Go out there now. Fantastic remake. Still very riddled with plot holes, but I think the fact that I'm commenting more on the story rather than the visuals means the visuals themselves have been updated to a degree significant enough, whereas no longer as big of an issue as was before, which means the remake is successful because that's what it was aiming to do. All right. Positive notes, that's good. But now we shall go on to episode 3. And yes, it is the elves one. Yes, which I assure you has improved since the last time I mentioned it to you. I think you were actually like a rep there around the time I originally published it back in 2018. But yeah, it's been updated is what I mean, and reformatted. So people can actually, read it without, being distracted by the fact that it was basically a glorified Word document. Righty-ho then. Episode 3. Without further ado, on with the review.
Hey guys, you enjoy this content? Well, make sure you subscribe for more of it. Anyways, on with the video.
To be honest, both Aiden and I actually have more people subscribed that watch our videos than unsubscribed. I mean, if you are unsubscribed, please do subscribe. It helps us out a lot. But on the other hand, we've got to say these ratios are pretty good by YouTube standards. Oh, and Aiden's returned, or somewhat. You don't have a mic here. Okay, fair enough. We've got to the end of episode 2 just right now, so we're gonna keep going now.
I knew you'd come here.
That was a bit cheesy,
Crap
but
sticks.
It's good to have.
Hey, Zach, how you been?
Totally didn't expect to see you here with my wings deployed, even though I had a new disguise specifically to blend in,
Are you kidding me? You disappear for days, and you greet me like it's the day before?
Well, what?
Oh, yeah. I mentioned this before, but whenever there was like a line that I felt was kind of like very weirdly put in, or it was a very dumb thing for a character to say, instead of deleting it, what I did was I just made a reply line with a character just like sassing or calling out the person who just made the ridiculous line, which actually makes it way funnier. Or in this case, dramatic and funny. Yeah.
What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Maybe something like, I'm sorry for running away. This is ridiculous. I'll come back.
Whatever. By any chance, does anyone else know I'm here?
No.
Good. Why are you here, though? Last time we talked...
What did you do?
Something I should have done many times before.
Great. Now you've made a mess.
I would do it again.
They'll kill you. Or worse, throw you in the box for 50 years. Do you know what the box does to an angel?
I won't let that happen.
And how exactly do you intend to do that?
With this.
How did you get that?
I found it 40 years ago. Been saving it for a day like this. No angel could track me anymore.
Don't do this, Adam.
Goodbye, old friend. I'm sorry if I came off as cold. I knew what you would say.
There was like no transition back into this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just worried about you.
I'll be fine. I know how to stay.
That was a BB style line there. You know how BB like slurs all of her lines to the extent like being like, yeah, well, this is the thing that says in the script, and I'm adding a little bit of embellishment to make it sound like it's a bit more natural. And that seems to be like half of what she does to like make the lines like that. Essentially, BB is kind of like the Jeff Goldblum of the Butterverse.
Stay off the radar.
That's a shame, because Diogenes is looking for you.
Diogenes? The cynic? What does he want with me?
You can probably guess. As can I, based on your reaction to his name.
Oh, well, tell him I'll be here. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry. You may be the main character, but you did a terrible anime boy impression. Zach is not the main character. What are you on about?
How do I know this isn't a trap?
If this were a trap, I wouldn't have come alone today. I don't beat around the bush.
Ah, you do care. And
why does his face look so serious when he's like being like, "Oh, you care"? Like he's being mocking, but his face is deadpan.
I guess you'll pretend like you never saw me. I must be honored.
Don't push your luck. This could cost us both a trip to the box. And probably worse for your new friend.
Alana? How do you know she's with me?
I didn't, but I do now.
Seriously, why am I so dumb?
Because you're impulsive. You jumped into all of this without thinking. I came here to issue you a warning. Watch every step you take. Every angel in the world has heard your name by now. Tread with caution. I'd wish you luck, but
Yeah, I know.
I hope to see you.
Wow, you mean that one of them has a righteous cause but is too impulsive to think it out properly and has now trapped himself in a loop of his own devising where he can't seem to escape properly? And there's also another one who is torn between his loyalty to his entire species and also his friendship with the person who betrayed them all. Where's the characterization here? I don't see it.
See you again. Farewell, friend.
They said, don't fall.
Okay, I'm skipping the intro this time because we can't watch it every single time. We'll be here all night. Whereabouts are we? This is still... Helen hasn't even showed up in the series yet, but she's in the intro. Which I guess, again, it makes sense if you consider, you know, how this actually played out.
Until you break down.
Hey,
Yeah, now we're getting into like the slower fade transitions here. That's when the sharp, you know, Dragon Ball teleportation sound doesn't work as well.
something on your mind?
Yeah, I just found out Diogenes was looking for me.
Who is that?
He's leader of Doubters. Remember the cynic I told you about?
Oh, him. Who are the doubters?
They're the people who have their doubts about how the Angel Realm Society should work.
I see.
Alana.
Oh yeah, this is during the time that Shorty had a really faulty hard drive on her computer, on his computer at the time. So he was like all of his mic quality was like really riddled with static and like it was like a whirring in the background. Yeah.
I have been meaning to ask you this.
Yes?
Why was your uncle trying to kill?
Oh, hold on. I said because Zach was also the main character. A main character, not the main character. It's almost like they're the main characters. Yeah, as Emily would say. Exactly.
You in that alley.
Don't you know?
No, us angels only know the moment when someone dies, not the circumstances that lead to it.
Except for, of course, the carriage, because that was literally like the moment that the character died in that scenario was when the carriage was driving away. It's not like, yeah, anyway.
Oh.
Can you tell me if you don't mind?
Well, you see... Hey Mom, you're home early.
So you went into some gray area territory here because we actually have... This is technically a flashback, but I guess N didn't want the entire video to be in grayscale, which I can understand, honestly. So that's why it's not really like a flashback style, but you can still tell that this is very much not happening in the present day, so it's not too confusing.
Well, I got good news. Uncle Jake is coming to town the weekend.
Cool! I haven't seen him.
So one thing that Monet said for this character, Jill, actually, was that if she knew that Jill was a mother, she would have played it differently. Which, I mean, to be honest, like, you know, we didn't know this at the time of, like, casting her as Jill, but she's been typecast as a mother character in theater for years. And quite honestly, you know, having a character that doesn't sound like the typical mother performance actually was, I see as refreshing, I would think, in comparison. Then again, I have only seen one kind of motherly character that she has played in the past because she showed me a video of her like monologue performance where she was an aunt character rather than a mother, but it was still just still in charge of a child. Not very successfully, but still in charge of one. So, and yeah, there is definitely a difference, at least in that one example. So yeah, refreshing. You know, not all mothers are going to sound the same after all. So I think it worked out for the best.
Since I was like 6 years old.
Yeah, he did a lot of traveling with his job.
Yeah, I know that, but what is his job exactly?
I don't know. He just travels to work.
Interesting.
I'm starting to think that might be... I thought it was like my corrupted restream, but I think it might be part of an issue with the audio. I'm not sure.
Where's it at?
Mom.
Yeah, because it only seems to happen when Monet talks, or when Jill talks, rather. So maybe that was a thing that didn't come in. How big is Alana's family? I'd say relatively normal sized. I mean, she's got her two parents, her two mums. One of them happens to have a sibling. Actually, technically, yeah, both of them actually have a sibling. Just realized, yeah. So that's 4 people. That's not too many.
Who's in the kitchen?
Hey, babe.
Hey.
Oh wait, actually no, it is Jill who was in with both of them.
You're home early.
There were no problems with lines. Okay, then it's weird that it's only Monet's audio that seems to be corrupting here for some reason.
Wow, what is with you two today? Yeah, I took some time from work because Jake is coming to town.
Are you sure that's a good idea? You know what he tried to do to her.
He's changed.
You believe the best in people, and I love you for that, but I knew him from before. I doubt he has changed that much.
I'll keep an eye on him. Don't worry.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think Jill is supposed to be the sister to both Jake and Mrs. Dysart. So I see, yeah, one parent has 2 siblings, while them might be the only child, we don't know.
If you say so.
Hey, moms! Uncle Jake is here!
Coming!
Be careful with...
I do love the fact, again, it's like he just randomly appears. This isn't an Emily scene, I don't think, but it is still the case of, like, you know, no sound to actually indicate he's opened the door or anything. Just like, oh, he's just now popped into existence in the living room, you know. Oh, okay, yeah, so there was a problem with Jill's lines. Okay, makes more sense then.
With your brother.
We've been over this. I will.
As well, this is the second time that his lines were recorded, actually. So Monet had plenty of time to realize the character was a mother, so she wanted to change her performance.
Jake, it's been too long.
Yeah, sorry. Work is time consuming.
We'd have more sympathy if we knew what you do.
That doesn't matter. What I care about is what you guys been up to.
Yeah, forget sympathy.
Since you last came, I started gymnastics and karate. Plus, I graduated 2 weeks ago, but I still don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life.
I got some ideas.
Really?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
So, Jake...
I mean, to be honest, given I've just been at university, I do relate to Alana, but, you know, having played players myself, and actually, I take any chance that I've talked to different people about certain ideas, and honestly, you know, they're having a couple of days ago, there was a conversation, particularly actually about that particular book that I mentioned before, that might be being used for a project at some point. That is, if the guy actually likes it, because I do acknowledge the fact that it is relatively not as good as my current stuff. So we'll see how it goes for him. Please buy the book. Anyway.
What brings you back to town?
Well, I want to see my baby sis.
Well, it took you 13 years.
Like I said, I had work.
Can we talk in private?
Okay, I do like the lingering, like, landscape shot here, conveying the awkward silence pretty well.
Private?
Sure.
Oh, and Aiden's improved a lot about it, but with silence, actually, because that used to be a huge issue back in the day. That, you know, if there's no character talking, it's like nothing was happening. So get through the action sequences as much as possible first before you actually get to the talking again. But yeah, of course, visual medium. So eventually that got corrected. We do see that here as well, especially for the remakes. And yeah, he does look a bit like Ian, actually. That's true.
Can't you give him a break?
No, I have a gut feeling about him.
Maybe it's best you go while he's here.
But...
No, you heard me. I'm not gonna let you ruin this.
Fine. Hey, Alana. I'm going to my mom's house. You want to come with?
I'm good. Is everything okay with you and Mom?
It is. Don't worry.
Classic lie. And they just eye each other down. Again, playing the silence and the reactions between them. Way better. And yes, lesbian drama. That was in the original too, but yes.
Well, get comfortable.
Yeah, see, so much there. So much there in just those few looks that we missed out on the first time. What if Helen actually accepted Sarah's deal to join Abraxas? Good question. She probably would have betrayed Abraxas at some point, or Abraxas would have wised up to the idea, and he would have got rid of her sooner enough. I don't know. He did want them all on his side, so I guess he wouldn't be too distrusting. I don't know. I'll think about that one when I'm like less delirious and tired.
Casa est tu casa.
Ches moi est ches toi.
Oh God, the French, the French. Every time I put French in a script, it always backfires. That was supposed to be chez moi et chez toi. Like that's how you would say it. It's like my house is your house, but it's not the Spanish. It was like it was meant to be a cute thing between the two siblings, and yet we have chez moi et chez toi. Good grief. Who was responsible for that one? I can't remember who voiced Jake.
Exactamente.
And exactamente was again Spanish. I don't know if it would be exactement, which would be in French. I can't remember at this point. I don't know. Yeah, see? Even that's better.
So, Uncle Jake, you were saying you had some plans or something for what I could do?
Nice food and table there as well. Oh, and this is again, this is my method of doing things where you record everything with no angles and then you zoom in later, so you don't have to individually manipulate every item.
Oh, that. Well, we can talk about that later. Let it be our secret.
Oh, I just thought you wanted me to work for your company.
Well, in a way, yes.
Cool.
Oh no, I got a work emergency. I got to go.
I love how she leans back on the chair to look at her phone. It's like, oh no, I have an emergency. And that's like limited gacha movement because it's difficult to portray that in kind of like this style. Maybe a sound effect would have been nice there. I don't know.
Okay, bye, Mom.
Want to go get some ice cream and talk about my job?
Yeah.
I also, an unfortunate thing is that with dinner table scenes in gacha, it's very hard to have characters eat. So it is always like, you have to they just don't finish their food, or they don't either they finish the food entirely or they just don't start it. That's always the options, I'm afraid. That's why in Musical Season 2, Episode 4, when they all have tacos, if you go back, you'll notice that one thing that I did there was that I would zoom in to different people while they were talking, and meanwhile, the ones who weren't talking would finish their tacos, and eventually you see that they've all actually had their food. That was just my way of doing it. And yeah, it is a compact. It's not really eat and drink. It's just a side effect that, unfortunately, you can't portray that even here. In animation, you can do it a little bit more easily, but yeah.
That sounds like fun. That ice cream was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this is the first scene of, a new editor. I don't remember who it was exactly.
It was.
So, what's your job?
Right. Promise me you won't freak out.
Should I?
I don't think you should.
So, what's your job?
I help these people to find people to use their organs in the black market.
What? You want them?
I would have played that up as a joke, to be honest. It's like, oh yeah, that's like definitely not his job, but you can tell by his face that it is very much is what he does.
To harvest my organs?
No, you can be a scout with me for them. It pays well.
No, that's wrong. You hurt people.
No, I let people hurt them.
No.
This is kind of like in Alita Battle Angel, where there's like a black market for like robot parts.
Well, I'm not doing that, and I'm not letting you hurt anyone else.
Sorry about.
What was that face you're doing? I'm gonna get you.
About this, Alana.
No.
I love how Abraxas doesn't know Alana has an aunt because he hasn't met her yet. Well, that's the thing. Abraxas was kind of like, he was in a state of perpetual observation for some time, but I don't think, and Adam and crew were on his radar at some point, so he might actually know. He's just not using her as a bargaining chip. He wants people. He doesn't really bargain too much because he wants people to really to join him of their own free will. So he's not trying to use people to be like, oh, I really hope something doesn't happen to your aunt in this if you don't side with me. No, he's like, I want to change your mind, and if I can use people that you've lost particularly to my advantage to get you see that yes, you can have these people again if I'm around, then that's changing your own mind, and you will join me willingly. That's the difference. And oh my goodness, wait, Lizzie, is that you? Oh my word! I think this is the voice actor of Kylie here. It's been so long. Good grief! We've missed you. Like, come on, it's been way too long. Also, I do love the fact that he just like brings like a massive like butcher knife, and that's what he uses to gut people or let people gut others. I don't know. I mean, at least get a scalpel or something. That's that. Do a clean surgery at least.
That's it. I'm done letting people die.
Why? Why is that the first thing you say? You know what? That ties back into the French thing before. Vive la République. Or, La République. Sorry, yeah. My pronunciation is a bit off. Not as off as Ches Moya, Ches Toy, but, close enough. Abraxas is the weirdest overlord type you'll never see in a show. That's the thing. He's meant to do things like his own unique way. He has an objective that he feels is righteous. Yes, most overlords do to some capacity. But yeah, considering that his whole thing is about the end of death, he's trying to minimize the death he has to cause to get to that point, especially when the people who would be preventing it would be coming in of his own accord. So yeah, but as I said, we wanted to make his motives a little bit more complicated, give him a bit more character to actually do something with. So yeah, I'm glad that he's weird. Angels shall fall and baby Satan shall rise again. Yeah. See, if Monet was the overlord in this instance, that's what would happen, clearly.
What are you?
Stage a coup,
An
exactly.
angel. Now you should head home. Your
Thank
parents
God
must see where.
that is kind of what happens, actually. There is like a coup, but again, his own style. Anyway, we're back to this scene, which Aiden did say, it's like poetry. They rhyme, in the words of George Lucas. But yes, that's Aiden wanted me to point that out. So yeah, they do tie in once again, and the REMAKES again was used for this purpose. I will say as well, we don't keep the unscored versions, but there is a way. I still remember what I said before. I'm going to mention how I got round that the issue of different music. But in episode 4, we'll get there soon. We're almost there.
Worried sick.
Thank you.
Wait, coup. Yeah. Yes. The coup from season 2, which you should watch. Again, remind yourself. Overtake Angel Light Studio, first them and then Bittercore. Yeah, good luck with that.
Hey, Alana. You good? Where's Jake?
Mom, he tried to kill me.
He what?
He wanted some people to harvest my organs.
I am glad that Jill does believe Alana right away. She's been defending Jake this whole time, but she knows that her own daughter would lie to her, which is great. If only the mother in puppetry was that understanding, but again, that ruins the story, so understandable. Oh wait, I just realized that's a spoiler, isn't it? Because we won't get to that scene yet. Yeah, ignore what I just said, everyone.
Organs, but an angel saved me?
This was right of Jake. I should apologize to her. You stay here while I call Lexa.
Okay.
You stay here alone, traumatized child of mine, while I go and call your other mother. I mean, I know that she has to be alone in this instance, but, at the very least, like, give her a hug or something, for crying out loud. That is your only daughter there. Good grief.
What are you?
And then we hear the teleportation sound. So that's what Aiden was trying to say. He did mention that, yeah, we see the teleportation and go back into the Emily poses and the Emily scene from before.
My name is Thanatos, but I will be known to you as Death.
Death? Are you here to kill me?
Sorry, but you're already dead.
No, she isn't.
It's you.
Hi, we must be off.
And that's how it happened.
I see.
My moms must be worried.
When it's safe, we'll find a way for you to see them again.
Thanks, Adam. What's it get?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hey, I'm Helen Mort. What's your name?
Alana. Alana Jones.
Okay. That introduction is still really awkward to me because it's like Helen just like randomly goes up to. I know she's on a mission, but it seems very random. She wouldn't try to like stage it a little bit more in some capacity. I don't know, but it is better than the original, which is what we're looking at here. All right. When does the anime? Yes, very true. Do essentially have the same eye color as the person who made them exist? Well, no. In fact, some like your own offspring often has different eye colors to you because that's how genetics works. So by pure coincidence, you might end up with the same eye color as like your distant ancestor just by a random string of combinations, but it's not guaranteed. It's very unlikely anyway. Then again, there are only a few combinations that do manifest, so I don't know, somebody could work that out if they had like every single person, like every single point of data before you. But that's like a whole other study. The only person I know who would dedicate that much time to figuring that out is Maya. So you never know. Maybe she'll have a project while she's rising up and taking over Angel Light and Buttercore at the same time. Or sorry, Bittercore. My mistake. Oh yeah, so BB summarized it way better than I did. It's a heredity factor, it's a gamble. But then Aiden ruins it by going, Vision Duos does different similarities as Zack. I mean, okay, fine. But at the same time, of all the things as a similarity. Yeah. In general, you're unlikely to look that much like your own ancestors. I did actually. I was at a friend's house in Spain, like about 10 years ago, I think. Yeah, it was the day we went to watch Tangle, so it was 10 years ago. But that friend's dad actually showed me like a portrait of his great great grandfather. And to be honest, I did see somewhat of a resemblance. Unfortunately, that's hard to depict in the medium of Gacha when everyone has the same body type and head shape and, so that is, so I guess in a way that's sort of a compromise. But yeah, I don't know, a visual thing to tell. I don't think you need this. I think yes, so you do need a visual thing to tell, to be honest, because again, it's something that does actually happen. I mean, the fact you have it is okay, but I don't think it's necessary. And yeah, this like I said, genetics is so interesting. Yeah. Normally we would actually, Ada and I do focus a lot on genetics for like parent characters, because a lot of the time you'll see in gachas where the parents seem to have like the same features exactly, like both parents have the same features. Like it's like the Van Houtens, actually, the Van Houtens, I can't remember how you say their name. From The Simpsons, where they look like they're twins. So yeah. Either that or one parent looks exactly like the child and then the other one has no traits. Normally with Ed and I, we try to find a combination of both. Unless the character, of course, is adopted, in which case, it's free game, because that's just how it works. I mean, I'm living proof of that. I understand, I know more about genetic proteins and stuff I do about your about your sins. About your kns. That's fair. Oh, thus far, I mean, okay. Right. So anyway, that was episode 3. So, genetic weirdness aside, yeah, I think it definitely, once again, way better than the first one. I mean, obviously, movement and stuff aside, that's already been mentioned, but the transition into the different scenes, the addition onto different scenes, because this one had to actually factor in what had been done in the remake, just like the original factor what had been in the other original of episode 1. And yeah, this one succeeded a lot more. Just when you are able to really refine those editing details and tune it to your liking that way, it does go a long way. All it's missing right now is musical transitions to actually not have the flashbacks be so stark. But then again, I just thought of the way around that recently, and I will cover that very soon in episode 4. Right. On to episode 4. I am slowly disintegrating. Here we go. Siren Song. Oh, and it starts off immediately on the intro. That's great. I know exactly what to do here.
Are you sure about bringing her?
Yes, we hung out all day yesterday, and it's been a few days since I met her.
I don't know about this.
Come on, the only
It's been a few days since you've met her, but you're in the exact same stores before. Okay, never mind.
people I've been around.
It's funny we're two characters in different shows with the same names, Julius and Julia. Well, guess what? Because of the fact I didn't plan the Butterverse out that's when I first started, there were actually 2 characters named Silas. We have Silas May, father of Morwenna May from the Mutant Girl, and we have Silas Nicanorth, the son of Sir Nicanorth from Cormanite Vehicle, but then from Sir Nicanorth eventually, So yeah, multiple Silases. Is this the episode who's the coolest character in the show to some people? I would say yes, if you don't count the introduction being last episode, because that was technically when we first saw her, but
lately is you and Harvey.
Fine, but remember, don't tell her about angels or being wanted by them.
Darn, and I was so looking forward to having a nice long conversation about being fugitives from another worldly force and the personification of death itself.
That is by far my favorite Sass Aiden's writing line that I have ever done, because that line of don't tell her about angels went completely unchallenged up until the point when I saw it and was like, no, she would already know not to do that. She's not stupid. I mean, she's naive at this point, but she's not stupid, and there is a difference. And Morwenna's grandparent is not Sir Nicanorth. That is not how those timelines match up. They are different characters. There is Silas May and Silas Nicanorth. Anyway, yeah, in this instance, yeah. But last time it was a bit difficult to tell because this was the episode when Shawsey recorded it that she at the time, I will say, he now, but she at the time, was clearly feeling dead inside. There was something going on there. So basically all of his lines were just going through the motions. The same thing happened with Julius in one of the episodes of Mythical Season 2, but yeah, this was that, and we couldn't really do that again because when you're dealing with emotional states, it's kind of hard to bring someone out of that and say yeah, I know you're suffering right now, but suck it up and do your line properly. So we had to kind of leave it. But here, I can already tell you that one thing that's really vastly improved with the original all the way through is everything Alana says.
I get it. I'm just cautious.
You've been cautious ever since this whole mess started. It'll do you some good to come out of that store and into another store. Okay, maybe I could have chosen a better meeting place, but I don't know.
Like the beach.
This is symbolic and stuff.
You can never be too careful.
Well, when she gets here, we're off to the beach.
I remember. How are we getting there?
We have to walk.
Of course. Is it just me, or the room get colder?
Foreshadowing.
Well, are we doing this or what?
Oh, okay, that's just in a second. I want to see Kara be all sassy to Adam. That's just in case he says a dumb line. Yeah, I still do them occasionally, but nowadays Aiden's got the hang of, logic and reason a lot more, so there are fewer chances to get that. I mean, but in other news, I want to know who actually did this volleyball setup, because I would like to talk to them for puppy love. Well, there is a scene in there. However, I will say that net is on the wrong layer. And that's kind of hard to do because because obviously it has to be on one layer. So I know a solution. So you take half the net, crop it, sync it up so it's on a separate layer, which means that anything that goes past the left side of it would be on the side of that other person, and the right side would be on the side of the other person. The left side would be on the left person's side of the net. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, point is, actually, I've been doing a lot of that recently, like syncing up a bunch of stuff into different layers. That actually started with Fallen Angels and the counter, which actually I did sync up in post. I synced up the counter so I could actually have Harvey behind it rather than just in front of it, because obviously it's a solid background, so you can't do that normally. So yeah. Did he just eat a bird? What? Yeah, I don't blame you. Look at the size of that thing. How did it even shrink into his mouth? Good lord. I mean, yeah, nice going, Mum. I'm glad you caught that.
Welcome to Merivak.
I will say it's a very colorful bird for the beach as well, but it's probably gonna be completely drained of all color by the end of it.
What?
It's Latin. Well, actually, it's two Latin words mashed together to mean sea cow.
Nerd!
I would have said portmanteau here, but as we've already established, French and Fallen Angels do not mix.
Hey, sea cows are interesting. That's where the legends of mermaids and sirens came from.
That's actually true, by the way. Oh, also, if you see that Alana moves differently in this scene, that's because Shorty did the movements for Alana in a little bit more of an animated style and somewhat more over the top than these two, which I knew was going to cause disparity if seen like this. But we'll see. But I don't know. We'll see how much it actually looks like now.
Oh, I wish I could find those here. Wouldn't that?
Yeah, see that. This is what I mean. It's like, oh, I wish I could see this. I am moving all the time. I mean, to be honest, if you keep the characters in somewhat realistic movement, you can actually you can actually save a lot of time, quite frankly. Which, to be honest, considering that's what Shorty said about his motivation as far as editing and scenes would go, is that the longer they are, the less likely he is to want to complete them. But yet he actually made it longer for himself as far as the process went, which I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Not really. Sirens will lure you in false promises.
Yeah, look, see the way that Alana's reacting here versus Helen. They don't match other's energies at all.
Mermaids live across the ocean.
You speak like
he's explaining something to her, and it seems like she's just going like, yes, I'm listening to you. Ha. And telling the character that can't swim. I mean, technically, none of the angels ever really learned how to swim, which is why it was such a big feat for Adam to dive into the water, particularly. Then again, he does actually demonstrate swimming ability, so I guess he worked it out in the heat of the moment. So I don't know. We haven't really seen if the other characters can swim or not. I imagine most of them can.
know them personally.
Nah, I just read up some folklore, specifically stuff by Salados.
Okay, so I got told this face by Alana was confusion. However, she adopts the confusion face while Adam is talking about reading up and stuff. He doesn't say the name of Salados or Salamondos, as I was actually in the script, until right now. But yeah, the face was there before. I got called out for like, oh, it's so obvious this face is sort of that of confusion or something. Well, she's confused. Are you confused about the fact that Adam picked up a book? Is that what's confusing? Because that's when the face came in, so it must be that.
Oh, okay then. Back in the real world, we need to find ourselves some space.
Who is Salamandus?
A guy I made up.
Oh, so are sirens real then?
I do like the O there.
Unfortunately.
Thought so. So that was experience you were talking from.
I dated one during the industrial...
Okay, this is much better. This pace right now, definitely far better than,
revolution named Kevin.
Let me do a TikTok dance while you explain something to me.
Not fond memories.
I bet some of them are cool though.
Nope. Anyways, let's go join Helen.
Okay, and now it just looks like she's checking him out while he leaves. Like, tell me that face does not suggest she is thinking, nice. Forget Adam and Zach. The most cursed ship of fallen angels is these two. Good lord. I have been impressed by the fan base so far and the fact they haven't actually dedicated a lot of time to shipping Adam and Lana specifically because, partly because Adam does reference the male siren he dated right now in this scene, plus the events later that show that Alana would not be into Adam anyway, let's just say. But even despite that fact, I mean, you know me, I like it when, a guy and a girl can actually be drawn together by circumstances of life and not have to fall in love. That's great too. The most cursed ship is Karis and Helen. Yeah. Okay, that's on the list, certainly. That's on the list of cursed ships. I don't know. I'm sure that Maya can make a cursed ship bingo at some point. She's done it before. And also, what do you mean they're straight so they're less likely to be shipped? They're not straight. That's the point I just said. Neither of them are straight.
I'll show him.
What is with this place? It reeks of death.
So, you feel it too?
Yeah.
This is one character debut we get in this episode, Key. And yet another vocal improvement, because by this point, we've had the recast from Quasi's performance, which unfortunately, it wasn't that Quasi was bad at the character. She was just inaudible. You couldn't tell if she was good or not, because we couldn't hear anything. So yeah.
Good. I thought I was going crazy for a second. What do you think?
Oh, and no, the couple is straight, like a guy and a girl. Yeah. See, that's the thing. You say they're less likely to get shipped. What's all the Raina and Julius fandom doing then? What's happening? Explain that one then, please, if they're less likely.
I don't know.
I've had more demand for that than any other pairing I have ever written in anything.
It can't be an angel or archangel. My first guess would be Thanatos, but he's still sweeping the archipelago. If anything, this feels lesser, but more profound at the same time. Does that make sense?
Only in the reference to Hades himself, or one of his...
One of his what?
You know what. It wouldn't be the...
Okay, yeah, the one of his there, again, improved line because it's actually not the end of a sentence. In the script, it comes with a hyphen, punctuation. Makes a difference, doesn't it?
First time one appears around this area. First time in a while, though.
Should we trace it further?
Are you kidding? No! Last time an angel messed with one of his, they ended up in a torturous trance for 100 years.
100 years?
Well, actually, it was 97. But 100 sounds better. Either.
That was a Shaolin Showdown reference. in case anyone was wondering. Remember season 2, episode 1, when Helen said you're just a human to Karis when she said that, and like Luna's also a human. Helen, did you forget? I don't know. Maybe she did forget at that point. Maybe it was just because Luna was already, I was about to say spoken for. That's not really the right word in this instance. I don't know. She's just trying to protect people.
Either way, best not to meddle with anything. I've got a job right now anyway.
She may
There's the
want
white
to find
flash,
out
okay.
about this.
But I do.
It can't be that hard. All I have to do is follow the arrow of greatest intensity.
It can't be that hard. All I have to do is go for a swim, possibly late at night,
As long as I am not seen,
as long as I'm far away enough.
I shouldn't run into any trouble.
I shouldn't run into any trouble.
Okay, Zach, let's do this.
Okay, Alana, let's do this!
Where are you going?
She was like right there when he was talking. I love that.
Just for a little swim.
Are you sure that's safe?
Don't know. But it's the beach. You can't come to the beach and not go for a swim.
A line I would like to repeat to Monet, actually, several times. Maybe it's not just musical that predicts the future, honestly. Do I prefer the zoom out shots or the zoom in shots? Okay, here's the thing. I know I insist a lot in like the zoom in shots in particular, but that's because they're the ones that I don't see as often. In my opinion, you need to have both. There's times when you need all the characters to react on a screen and you see everything that's happening all at once as there's like multiple things going on. Other times you need to like focus on the emotional intensity of what one character is saying. Other times you need split screen. Other times, the character is meant to be like super small, a speck somewhere in the far distance in a landscape. That's the thing with cinema in general, with the art of film, is that different shots give you different vibes at all times. In fact, there's actually a song about that, which was done by Kyle from Browse Held High. I wonder if I can actually find that video separately and just like play that towards the end. It's like a bonus. Consider it a bonus track. I'll just prepare that. Let's keep it moving for now anyway. Oh, why doesn't anyone wear hats in this series? Well, hats aren't that common. I mean, as a hat wearer myself at times, I know that I get that point out to me a lot, that it is a relatively rare thing to do. So yeah, I don't see why people would wear hats in this instance. In fact, the only real hat wearers we have in the Mutant Girl are the ones who are hiding a mutation. Of course, that can indeed be hidden by a hat, because obviously when I can't. Sorry, I'm having split votes right now. Okay, so I found the guy's channel, but not on his channel. Fine, I'll do it this way. Sorry, I was taking a while. Come on, where is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Found it. All right, I'll leave that one for later. Let's move on.
Guess you're not much of a swimmer then.
The water really isn't a place for me. It's been made clear to me that I don't belong there.
Oh, right. Attacked by some sea creature as a child.
Something like that.
I'm not one for it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Helen, as a child of Hades, her territory, of course, that she would thrive in, of course, would be the underworld. There's a concept in the Percy Jackson books that I kind of ripped for this, where Percy wasn't allowed to fly in an airplane at all because he's the son of Poseidon, and the air being Zeus's territory would give Zeus the excuse to strike him down. Because of the rivalry between the pair of them. That extends, of course, to their other brother, Hades. So as a child of Hades, it's natural that Helen would be weary of entering the territory of the water for the same reason. So there you go. He is overrated as a character. I don't know if he's rated at all as a character. I mean, no one really talks about her at all, honestly. Which is a shame, because there are some, I would say she's underrated, because, again, no one rates her. So that's how that'll go for me. I don't know. I haven't had anyone ask me too much about Key in particular, or any thoughts on her journey and what she represents and everything. But yeah, if I had to describe what Key represents, it would be the example of what Zack starts out as and doesn't change. She's what pulls him back in, and that's the source of conflict between himself and his journey with Adam. If anything, she's like the Azula to his Zuko, right down to her going mad at the end. Spoilers.
Either. It's really hard to fly away afterwards.
What?
I said it's very hard to get dry afterwards. Yes, that's what I said. Till I didn't say anything else.
True.
And here's the implementation of my new patented swimming method in Gacha. Which, yeah, I can say I would make the water a little bit more solid and also line it up so it's not like the layer of water that the new layer of water is above the old one. It's got to be below it. That's why you get that weird blurry line towards the end. I just realized Tommy is walking on water. BB, I think you might have been wrong before. Jesus clearly is real.
Pardon me. Are you looking for something? No way! Alana, we meet again!
Yes.
He's like the series character version of the Ninjago character Harumi. Well, I have not seen much of Ninjago, but Aiden has, so that might be accurate.
We do.
You don't remember me?
Tommy? Oh my gosh, you're exactly how...
And yes, there are plenty of Percy Jackson rip-off moments in this that all go over Aiden's head because he has not read the series yet. It's been 2 years. Get on it.
I imagined you to look like now. Like, down to a T.
I'm just full of surprises.
But how? I saw you.
I will say again, refreshing this, shorter performance, way better. The surprise at seeing Tommy finally being there, way greater. And the scream, of course. We didn't have to recycle the scream from the first episode. Oh, that's a good point, especially with the new books coming out. That is correct. I've been notified of those recently, and I'm very excited.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
What are you?
Someone you won't remember.
Oh, Tommy, I wanted nothing more than to see you again. Nothing in the world.
Again, third time I'll say it. Broken record, but I don't care. So much better. I can actually feel the emotions. I can feel something.
Trust me, I know.
Hasn't she been gone for a while?
I don't know. She must have swam out pretty far.
How far? Where do you think she went?
Relax. She's a grown woman.
Hardly. She's 19.
So? How old are you then?
You don't want to know.
And that's why no one confirms their ages in this universe.
Do you think she went to that island?
Honestly, probably. I don't see her anywhere else.
Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it!
Wait, I can't go in there.
Why not? There's nothing around here that could hurt you.
Trust me, if I go in, there will be. I have to stay here.
Suit yourself.
Just trod on my hair. That
It
happens
was always a dream
sometimes.
of mine to sweep you off your feet one more time.
Me too.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I think that line had to be deleted last time.
Tommy, that's a little too deep.
Okay, so Aiden asked me what I thought of this scene because he was worried about the fact that obviously he has to move Alana and Tommy, separate layers. Which we can do this on one layer, by the way, but yeah, separate layers in this instance, and also, had to appear as if Alana was indeed in Tommy's arms. And yeah, for a moment it does seem like they're like out of sync from each other, but that's not the issue here. That part is just done right. What isn't done right is the fact that Tommy just starts, Siren Tommy starts like running straight for the water and not just like carrying her a little bit and easing himself into it and sort of going to the water, then, sort of as if playfully, but then just like actually starts to sink further and further and further. And that's why that's why Alana realizes there's something wrong in the first place. No, he actually just says that he's going to thing that already, says it's too deep before he's even descended, and he is once again walking on water. It's another example of where that layer of water could have played a major impact in this to see them actually sinking, but we don't get that. Those are the issues with this, but not the part of being in his arms. And yes, same Tommy died for season 2 because he doesn't. His clothing change would not have happened because he died like that. The memory of him was projected by the siren like that because that was the last time Alana saw him, and he was revived exactly as he was the moment of death by Abraxas, which means he would be wearing the same clothes in all those scenarios. So yeah, we do think about when a character's design would change, not just if it's a seasonal break, because then it wouldn't make much sense. So again, we justify our design changes when they're needed, but also when they're not.
Tommy, can we please go back? Tommy, I'm serious too.
I think the implication was that walking out of frame was meant to be like the edge of the water. If that's the case, why do you not crop out the water with another camera angle and use some sound effects to signify them sinking further into the water if you wanted to have that illusion? It's another way of doing that. Beware of the sirens, those maritime tyrants. This is where he uses momentum to go down. It's meant to be super fast, but yeah, it's faster. It's not too bad. And yes, Tommy is the X, which is why the X who died, which is why it affected Lana to see him again like that. Aiden asked me about being in the scene too. I told him it looked like he was on water. Yep. Yeah, like I said before, definitely a Jesus moment.
Are you okay?
What was that?
Oh, where did summon the sword out of the water? Because originally he's meant to like go down into the water to see what's happening, then realize he can't swim down far enough to grab her, and then he goes up, summons the sword, and uses the momentum to calculate and stab down. That's why he has summoned it up there. And no, he's not Adam's ex. This is just happened to be another siren. Knowing Aiden, I wouldn't put it past him to clarify that it was indeed the same siren that got mentioned in the previous sentence, because that's to connect all the characters he can and bring them back in any capacity. But I like the fact that they are separate entities because the sirens are indeed a threat, which is why there was meant to be a whole musical about them in Gacha, ended up being a live action, and that's why that's a whole huge thing. I'm actually happy Abraxas referred to his death because his character could have some great potential in the future season of Fallen Angels. Yeah, that's again, like I said, Aiden brings them back. Something he does. It does sort of undermine the idea of death having this massive consequence. The more characters from people's pasts that have been confirmed to have perished, or they would have done naturally, just keep returning. It undermines the idea of this permanent state that Adam is trying to fight against, unfortunately. So my advice to Aiden would be to dial that back in future editions, but I think he's done that already. And yes, the Sirens musical is a part of the Butterverse. It's because the musical that got made for the stage, which by the way, people don't know, that's the thing that happens. I actually wrote the musical that got performed on stage a few months back. That was originally just meant for Gacha, and there's still some aspects of that. I do want to make that eventually. That was meant to be like my idea for Gacha musical, to actually like say, okay, well, this is a Gacha musical. Let's have some actual like original songs that are meant for this thing and work in the context of this and are sung by the actual actors. Music Freeze has a little bit of that because the songs I think are written for this and like in the series, but they're also meant to be used out of context because you can't tell me that I'm inside your bed is a line that would be used by a character who distrusts someone to the point of stalking them. Like, so yeah, that was the idea. But unfortunately, because of everything being, all the projects and stuff happening, and also the fact there were some songs that some people like made that were promised, or a lack of idea of where it went forward, that had to be put on the back burner until such a time when at university there was a chance to be like, oh, you can write something for your final piece and stuff. It's like, hang on, I've always wanted to do a musical. That's like one of my dreams to put on a musical, with songs that I've done and stuff. Why not take this script that's already somewhat made, finish it, and then put it, and then have it performed on stage, which is why it exists in stage form now and not in gacha form. But it depends. Should I revive that project? Should I try and bring back the momentum of Siren Story gacha version? Should I do that? If so, let me know. Like this video, and then I'll be more likely to do it sooner. So just saying.
Yes, now let's get back to the beat.
Oh, nothing wrong with a villain reviving a dead character from someone's past. A good constant idea. Yes, it's a character. He does it. First of all, Abraxas does it several times. You haven't seen it yet, but he does it several times. Secondly, the point is that this is a situation that Aiden keeps bringing back. Depending on, doesn't matter if Abraxas does it or if it's somebody else. This is a theme that keeps popping up, especially towards down the line. That there are so many characters that are meant to be dead that reappear in some form. I had to veto a character from Zack's past that we saw in a flashback recently coming back as like another emissary or something. So it's like, Aiden, this needs to stop because it's like everyone who could possibly have become eternal somehow does, or whoever could have possibly come back somehow does, and that defeats the message that's being sent, defeats like the entire quest that Adam started this whole series off with. That's why I don't dislike revival. I just think that in this show, it doesn't work the same way. I mean, like you said, Abraxas is not your typical villain. And yet him doing the revivals and stuff, I said it before, it does make sense for his character. It's just the fact that he's not the only person who does it and it's a thing that keeps happening. That's what I'm more concerned about. That's the thing. I can't like it any more than I already have. Fine, then share it around. Get this video to 10 likes and I will speed up the process of Siren Story. Oh, also BB mentioned something here. I disagree. I really dislike revival. I made it eventually, but I would try to avoid as much as possible. There's something special about this concept of being permanent. Yeah, that's the thing I'm saying. You know, there needs to be a threat of a permanent consequence that comes up, especially in this show. But yet also Braxton should be able to drive like one person to try and manipulate somebody, like Alana, for example, which is what he does with Tommy. Just again, just gonna keep him coming. Anyway. And if saying there's some fun when things intertwined, okay, but remember, in life, there are people that come and go, especially across 2 centuries. And if you have everyone intertwined and constantly returning from death, there is no threat of death, is there? But yeah. Oh, you got it at the end. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't see that part. Okay. Greek mythology has ghosts and an afterlife. Rather shouldn't be necessary. And indeed, it's not. We see those concepts. We've seen the concepts already, actually, because I scotch taped a concept of that onto. I scotch taped both of them actually onto the first remake. Let me avoid life. Remember, the Butterverse, it has the fantastical elements, but it is parting from a point of realism up until then. That's how it functions, because otherwise you just get, a cheesy cartoony gacha, which was one thing I was trying to respond against back in the day. So yeah, these life concepts do come in, whether they're being called out for the ridiculousness of what they are, or if they are actually used because people just ignore them in stories when they really shouldn't.
This island is not safe.
I'm sorry. You and Helen must have been worried sick.
Helen had other things on her mind. She has a lot of explaining to do when we get back.
Okay. Now we're in the last scene. And yes, thinking back, it is weird that Adam can swim to this degree, but there has to be some way that he managed to get Alana, who was semi-conscious, like, back. So it had to be like this. But also, it's the last scene, and I did this one, and I'm gonna mention how exactly a few certain things went down. Adam, I should have guessed.
As should I. Looks like I'm getting 3 prizes today.
3? What do you mean 3? What's she got to do with it?
I think your friend can answer that.
Okay, so first of all, look at the solidity of that. You can see that they're submerged underwater. I didn't do the bouncer this time because there wasn't enough time to do them, but they're sustaining themselves relatively okay, considering they're not really moving their legs
herself. Fine. Not that it's any concerns anyway. I guess you can all come with me.
No! I'm not going anywhere.
Your compliance isn't a factor.
Neither is yours. Manus erbe regnoge tarquinos.
Okay, I wish I put a sound effect on there because I thought he said he was gonna do the scoring. And yeah, he did the scoring up until like this track here, like the piano, he did. Some of the other sound effects I put in myself before because I knew he was gonna miss them out. This one I was expecting some sort of like big whirring, sound, which to be honest I could have done myself, but he wanted this scene in pretty quickly, so I didn't want to delay him too much because I've been so busy recently. I wanted him to have something at least to work on himself. Still, I could say, even though I made this one myself, way better than the original already because we have an actual thing to engulf them in darkness. As it's because it's kind of important to not just like have them like the screen go black and then have Adam and Alana somehow survive this. See, Kurt knows that he can't escape it. However, because they're in the water now, which is why I changed the setting for this to a different island, or like to the edge. This is meant to be the edge of the coast at this point. They're still in the water. They never get out of the water because, obviously, we've established already that Helen's powers don't reach into the ocean because of Poseidon. So that way, this mass stays there, and All Alana have to worry about is the fact that you saw in her shocked face, not only is she shocked at the Alana thing, but she also recognizes Kurt. Okay, here's the last thing. So, what you just heard there, that was a flashback. So, I said we don't keep the unscored versions of the scenes, unfortunately. So, what did I do here? I just kept the song going. In fact, let's rewind for a second so I can show that properly. That is, if I can actually. All right. You can hear it like swell up a little bit when it goes to the new version, but because it was right at the beginning as well. But you can still find these tracks fairly easily when they're used, because normally in flashbacks, the tracks will start right from the beginning of whenever they are. So all we have to do is when you're in audio, look at the waves, see where they're synced up, and shuffle them along, and then you can continue it or start it off in any point. And that's how I did it. I know I built that up for like 2 episodes of this, but that's how to take the scored scenes and make it so they can actually flow properly. And that's the one piece of Fallen Angels scoring music that I have actually done for anything recent in Fallen Angels. And once again, it's to wrap up an episode, just like when I started, full circle. Now they merge, they don't know what to say. And there you go. And that's why that scene took so long. So, hold on. Oh yeah, so I've explained already why the water didn't happen. So I'm sure you probably read that before. I explained that fully. So yeah, that's why they had to change to the water. Then it stumbled across a random island. That was sort of my fault for not cropping the island to seem like it was the edge of the coast. It's meant to be like the edge of the coast they were on before. That was the idea. Because unfortunately, that swimming method that I have right now, it's good for swimming side to side. I don't know how to properly work it for like up and down movement yet. The season 3 version that I had, it actually involved like 2 like extra layers and stuff. Like when Morwenna was like zooming around and stuff. So I could have done it there, but it is also hard to have them emerge that way. So it's something I have to work on editing wise that I need to that's my thing to fix now. We're getting into still LA Fortnite is still teaching us new editing things. It's just more complex physics and ideas when we started off. So in that sense, it's retains some of its original quality, but just, updated. As remakes often do. And why isn't Hell News at Television Spell again season 2? That's a good question. I'm gonna say because it takes a long time to charge up. In the original, it's just like you engulf it in a black screen, but we don't see the range of it. In this one, we see there's a very slow process that, yes, is inescapable if you're near it, because it will just pull you in, but also, there's enough time to do something about it if you actually are prepared for it. And of course, Tommy had parents. What do you think? He was like born out of a fungus? Or that he fell from a sky like that, like the wizard in Rings of Power? What kind of question is that? Everyone had parents. How do you think people are born? Anyway, that was the episode. And hold on. Why not stab while casting? Because first of all, you need one hand at least free. Secondly, it expends a lot of your energy. And thirdly, we don't know the effects of it if you move around. That kind of spell, that's the kind of thing that needs to be like nerfed significantly. It has to have some major drawbacks to it. why didn't Abraxas stab the Hades kid? Wait, what? Hold on. Hades kid while casting a teleport spell. Because A, she didn't cast a teleport spell, and B, Abraxas for the most part doesn't want to kill any of the main characters. The weirdest scene, and the one that I really don't know what Aiden was thinking for this one, but one of the weirdest scenes particularly is Abraxas's actual first appearance. I think what Aiden was thinking was that to show a display of his power, he would wipe out a bunch of the characters that Aiden wasn't going to write anything else for, like off the face of the earth, like instantly, like it was nothing, to show how powerful he was. I think that was the idea. That does conflict with his ideas of ending death and not using that for his own advantage later on. I mean, I'm already surprised that he even he even killed Jason. That was the weirdest decision for me, because it's like Jason was on his side. He contributed to his rise again. And the thing that Braxos preaches is a freedom for all. I don't know. It's kind of like, I'd compare him to Amon from the Equalists. I mean, because Amon wanted the end of bending, but he also didn't, kill anyone. He wanted to send a message to all the benders out there. He wanted equality. That was the Equalist movement. That was the point. In this instance, Abraxas wants, eternity for all. So yeah, it does seem weird that he would even try and wipe out these certain people. That's ignoring future lore that's going to come in that Aiden and I are working on right now. That's kind of like, well, why did you kill these people? Why? So yeah, other than that situation, Abraxas isn't really one for stabbing people or, being with them. He's not even one for manipulating them unless he has to. The only reason he controls Diogenes is because Diogenes is considered by him to be so incorruptible and so set in his ways after so many millennia of campaigning against extreme action, that he needed the mind control for him, but only for him. Everyone else could join their own free will. He's confident enough that no one can touch him during that. Ralph and Brax are the best chemistry as brothers. Well, stay tuned for more projects in that case, because there's something to do with that soon. You want to see more Helen Sky battles? I mean, to be honest, I'd love to see more Angel Sky battles. It makes more sense for them than it does for Helen to be battling, in the sky, which is, to be fair, I did edit the first one, so I guess I would be commissioned for that again. Maybe I don't miss it that much, but we'll see. We'll see. Aiden is doing way better now at actually attempting a lot of these visuals for himself. It's just that, of course, the last few episodes, the first few scenes of this episode in particular, are the ones that I have criticized him over the years for the most, actually. And he handed one of them to me because that's what he normally does when I complain about a scene so much. He hands it to me to say, like, oh, you do this one. And it's not who is Sky, it's battles in the sky. Like, the sky, And was he the spear pieces for? Ah, well, I can't tell you that yet, can I? Okay, but so that's that. And yeah, it is. This one in particular, I think, is the best remake, for me at least. I know Aiden was going to say what his favorite one was. I think this is the best remake because it actually remakes and improves on on everything that was an issue before. All the visual details that were included here to hint at Helen, all the vocal details that were included for Alana's emotions and her journey in this episode particularly, and also all of the narrative things that unite all of them, is just so much better. Everything in this one, I think, is an improvement of the first one. And yeah, there are still a few things left over that are weird from before, but even considering that Tommy carrying Alana scene, in the original, all he does is hug her and just yeet her into the water. And that's it. So yeah, at the very least, Aiden is now, at last, attempting the complex visuals that he complained about me adding in the past. I knew that, even back then, I knew that there was like ways to do these things. Nowadays, I use the green screen effect for the teleportation spell that Alana has. No, sorry, that Helen has. Back then, it would have probably been one of the objects in Gacha Club, like how Takahashi teleports in Alpha Academy with the portal. You know, it's not the best effect, and I could do it way better. I've done it way better in episode 2 than I did it in episode 1, but it's still there, and it's still something that you can find in Gacha Club itself. So even back then, there were ways of doing stuff that I put in if you just find the ways around it, or you ask someone, you find a tutorial. Because that's how I started doing Gacha back in the day. I didn't know how to green screen or how the animated mouse and stuff would work, or like how the movement of the characters would go, or even how to actually direct voice actors and deal with all that stuff. But that's the thing, I worked it out as I went along. I didn't shy away from anything unless I absolutely had to, in order to meet the pesky month deadline that I gave myself every time, which is what really held the series back in the day. So, yeah, that's why even to this day, I still think I'm so glad that Aiden is attempting that now. He's not like, oh, I'm just gonna do this and this will be fine, whatever. And he's also noticing now that when he does that is when he is most unsatisfied with his own work, and when he most wants to go back and remake stuff. Especially after being criticized for it, actually. The more he's criticized for something, the more he actually wants to go back and redo something, which actually, again, gives credence to the idea of Gacha review as a whole, doesn't it? Because that's what you want. Ralph and Sean make a great duo. I guess. I can see that, actually. I can see that. And yes, it is. Yes, you're all right, Speeby. It is chroma key for the most part. However, we do use mainly green chroma key, so that's why I still say green screen. I could say, yellow screen for Zack or something. That would still be fine, but yeah. Also, technically also who is Sky be Uranus, but not quite what he meant. Oh yeah, that's true. But then again, Helen versus Uranus would be just no competition. Uranus would win immediately. Who's Ralph and who is Sean? Well, go ahead and watch Fallen Angel Season 2 to find out the answer to that question for the most part. And also Season 1 for Sean as well. They are there, Maya. You just have to keep watching the show over and over to remind yourself. But you know what? You guys go ahead and do that, because there is a link into Aiden's channel. Go ahead and check that out and subscribe. Or if you want to see the originals and what I thought of them back in the day, and see how much my opinion has changed and what I've and how much has actually improved overall for yourselves, then go ahead and check that out too. So yeah, absolutely. A few runners would lose to, yeah, pretty much. And I know you've been watching Project over and over, Josh. I mean, your level of watching it is very obvious, because not many people can tell you how many people refer to Mrs. Dysart by her first name off the top of their head. That is a skill. But yeah, I don't mean like rewatch them like over and over like that. I just mean, because Maya forgets stuff easily, it makes more sense to go back and watch this and watch things that will answer your question rather than just being explained it every single time, because you'll just forget again. So you've got to remind yourself, at least give us some views and watch time for it, So yeah. All right. That's it for now. I'm going to leave because I'm very tired. And please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. And subscribe if not already. And also, buy my book. You know what? I'll put a link in this video, actually. I'll go and edit that now. So yeah. See you tomorrow for the VOD, and I will, yeah, absolutely. But of course, also for the next review, which will probably be the Puppetry one or the Maui one. I'll find a way, because I have to split them up, actually, for branding purposes, because it's not fair to lump them together like that anymore. I stopped doing that. So yeah, I lumped these ones together because they're the same thing. So we shall see. Probably puppetry will be next for that, but obviously tomorrow is VOD time. So yeah, see you all for the next review. Until then, adieu. On that note, until next time, farewell.